This week, PlayStation's network goes down at the worst possible moment, right as one of the most anticipated fighting games of the year kicks off its open beta. God of War gets a release date and a massive surprise at Comic-Con. Xbox makes 3 moves in 1 week, and Tomb Raider fans just got some bad news. This is Itty Bitty Gaming News. Let's get it. First, let's talk about PlayStation's rough week, because 2 big things happen at the same time and they tell the same story. First, the outage. On July 24th, PlayStation Network went down worldwide, and not just for online play. Digital games that require PSN to verify a license, including games people play completely offline, became unplayable. Account management, the PlayStation Store, PlayStation Direct, cloud streaming, all of it went dark at once. Sony's own status page initially showed everything as fine while thousands of players were locked out. It took roughly 6 hours to recover, with some users reporting lingering issues after that. Now here's why the timing was brutal. The Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls open beta went live the exact same day. Players who had been looking forward to trying one of the most anticipated fighting games in years fired up their PS5s and hit a wall. The beta runs through July 26th, so there's still time, but for many people, a chunk of that window is just gone. Here's the bigger picture though. Because this wasn't an isolated incident, by Sony's own patterns, this was the 6th PSN outage in 2026, roughly 1 every 3 weeks since March, and it's landing right at the center of an ongoing fight Sony is already losing in the court of public opinion. Earlier this month, Sony confirmed that starting in January 2028, they will stop producing physical discs from new PlayStation games. The all-digital future is coming whether fans want it or not. And then the network goes down and locks people out of games they paid for and own. The outage didn't just make people frustrated, it made the argument for them. A disc plays offline. A digital license that can't reach a server is a paperweight. Sony hasn't publicly explained why any of these outages are happening, and PS Plus subscribers paying up to $160 a year have now absorbed 6 of them this year with no compensation and no answers. That silence is becoming the story. So let's talk about Marvel Tokon itself for a second, because despite the PSN situation, the game has a lot going on. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls launches August 6th on PS5 and PC. This is the first Marvel tag team fighting game in 9 years. Developed by Arc System Works, the team behind Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ. At a Comic-Con panel this week, they revealed the first Year 1 DLC character as Phoenix Cyclops. This is Cyclops from the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, where he bonded with a portion of the Phoenix Force. He's voiced again by Ray Chase, same guy who plays the character in X-Men 97 and Marvel Rivals. I actually interviewed Ray years ago on LAN parties. He arrives this fall as the first of 4 planned DLC fighters. There's also a free Wolverine Battle Reborn suit crossover with Insomniac's Marvel's Wolverine coming September 1st, free for all players. The open beta is live now through July 26th on PS5 and PC. If you want to try it, you only have to today to play it. God of War fans had a massive night at San Diego Comic-Con. Santa Monica Studio held a full panel for God of War Laufey, and they came with announcements. The release date, February 16th, 2027, for a game that was only first revealed 2 months ago with 20 minutes of gameplay. That's a pretty fast turnaround, and it tells you this one is basically done. The game follows Laufey, also known as Faye, Kratos' late wife, waking up in the Everywhen, the afterlife of the gods, and navigating a world of fallen deities from multiple mythologies. It's the first God of War game where Kratos is not the main playable character. Deborah Ann Woll plays Laufey, with Chris Judge returning as Kratos in a supporting role. But the real surprise of the night was what Cory Barlog announced after. A new Kratos-led God of War game is already in development, and it connects directly to Laufey's story. Barlog was clear, everything in the Laufey game is building towards something bigger. So if you were worried about Kratos being sidelined permanently, he's not. Santa Monica is essentially running 2 God of War games in parallel, in an appointed move that feels very intentional given Sony's disc controversy. The Laufey team confirmed the game will ship with physical discs. February is already stacked. I mean, we got Persona 4 Revival, Fable, Metro 2039, and now God of War Laufey, all in the same month. Xbox also had a busy week. 3 separate moves that together paint a picture of where the platform is headed. First, Xbox is now testing ad-supported free game streaming. Xbox insiders can try cloud gaming without a Game Pass subscription. You just watch an ad before the session starts, and you get 1 hour of cloud play. Sessions are limited, ads only run before the game, not during it, and Xbox says the core experience will stay unchanged. Whether this expands to everyone or stays in testing is unclear, but the direction is obvious. Xbox wants to lower the barrier to entry as much as possible. Second, Xbox backward compatibility on PC is now live. Original Xbox exclusives are coming to PC. The launch lineup is 4 games: Blinks the Time Sweeper, Conquer Live and Reloaded or Live and Reloaded, Crimson Skies High Road to Revenge, and Fusion Frenzy. All 4 are on Game Pass and available to purchase. If you already own them on console, the license carries over. Xbox says this is the start of a broader preservation effort. More original Xbox titles are coming to PC over time. And thirdly, and not great, Avatar Legends, the fighting game, delayed its Xbox Series X and S version by 6 weeks, 13 hours before it was set to release. The game launched on PS5 and PC as planned. Xbox players got an apology and a September 3rd target date. Delaying a game with less than a day of warning is a bad look for everyone involved. If you were hoping for 2 big Tomb Raider games in 2027, that's now off the table. Tomb Raider Catalyst, the brand new mainline entry in the series set in northern India, has been quietly delayed to 2028. The announcement came not through a press release or a trailer reveal, but as a throwaway line from Amazon Games general manager Jeffrey Gaddis during a podcast interview. He mentioned that Legacy of Atlantis, the remake of the original 1996 game, stays locked in for February 12, 2027, and then said Catalyst would follow, quote, in 2028. Amazon subsequently told Gematsu they have no updates to share on Catalyst's timing and that the game is progressing well, which is a very corporate way of not confirming or denying anything. The practical reality, Catalyst was already going to be the first new mainline Lara Croft adventure since Shadow of the Tomb Raider in 2018. Now fans are waiting at least another year longer, and with Sony ending physical disc production in January 2028, Catalyst could end up being one of the first PlayStation releases that never gets a physical version. And let's end on something I think deserves a moment because it ties together a lot of what we talked about today. At the God of War Laufey Comic-Con panel, Cory Barlog confirmed the game will ship with physical discs. That sentence wouldn't have been remarkable 6 months ago, but in July of 2026, right after Sony announced the end of physical disc production for new games starting January 2028, right after PSN locked people out of their digital libraries, it lands very differently. Santa Monica Studio didn't have to say that either. They chose to. Whether that's a message to Sony, a gesture to fans, or both, it got noticed. God of War Laufey is going to be one of the last major PlayStation exclusives that ships in a box. If you're a physical collector, you already know what to do with that information. That's your week in gaming. It was a big one. Sony's all-digital future is officially a story, and God of War just gave us the best news of the summer. If you want a deeper dive on any of this, drop it in the comments, like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's wrap. I'm Smitty. Take it easy.